attention, please. Our gals will still be walking around for your final chance at the raffle tickets as we get things started here this evening, but we'll get going so you can get to that wonderful line of food over there. It looks pretty good, I must say. Good evening and welcome to the 84th Annual St. Genevieve Chamber of Commerce Annual Banquet. My name is Steph Greminger, and it is indeed a pleasure for me to be here tonight to make a few introductions on behalf of the Chamber. I am a transplant to St. Genevieve, although I've been here quite a few years now, 28 years to be exact, as I think back, and I started at the radio station that long ago. Of course, I was only 5 at the time, of course, but in any event, I never looked back going back to St. Louis. It is a town that I fell in love with. I fell in love with its charm. I fell in love with its love of history and the historical aspect of the town, and I also fell in love with its welcoming atmosphere. So I certainly never look back, and I'm glad to be a part of the St. Genevieve community, as I'm sure all of you are. By the way, it isn't raining tonight, but it has rained a lot, hasn't it? I hear conversations all evening long on how much rain we've had, and I did go through one of those low-lying roadways, and there was water over it, so I took my chances going through it, but I made it anyway. And by the way, I did want to mention Tom Kime, the CEO at the hospital, asked me to tell all of you that not to worry, because if we do get more rain, the new ER construction project can easily be converted to an arc, and there are boat ramps as well being in the mix, so just to keep that in mind. All right, without further ado, let's get things started. I'd like to introduce the Presbyterian minister, Junie Ewing, who will do our invocation.
Well, I am new to St. Genevieve, but want to say it's a wonderful opportunity and a real pleasure to be here tonight. So let's bow our heads and pray. Dear God, we thank you for the first signs of spring, for giving us a designation of one of the best places to visit in America. We ask that your peace be ours, the peace in times of trouble, so regardless of our differences, we may love each other and be one with you, as we also thank you for this good food we're about to enjoy, and ask that you bless it. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Junie. Now we'd like to have our national anthem. Landon Shaw of the Colbean Bay Theater Company is going to be singing our national anthem.
And bright stars through the perilous fight, although ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And if you remain standing, we have another guest who is going to perform our Pledge of Allegiance. Her name is Taylor Arnold, the Junior VFW State President. Please welcome Taylor.
Maybe moving my here, I'll stand.
Just a little shy.
Ready? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. You can be seated now. I would like to make a few simple introductions for us this evening before we head over to the chow line, as it were. Let's start with our head table over there. We have Ron Armbruster, of course, president of the St. Genevieve Chamber. Want to take a stand, Ron? Okay. And his lovely wife, Linda Armbruster. Linda there? Okay. Nancy Tully, Vice President of the St. Genevieve Chamber, and Michael Tully. Michael here? Joanne Luttrell, she is the outgoing Secretary of the St. Gen Chamber, outgoing in more ways than one. And Dale Luttrell, her spouse. Eric Bosler, outgoing Treasurer. And Deanne Kreitler, of course, Executive Director of the St. Gen Chamber. And my husband, Greg Greminger. We also have special guests here, Mayor Richard Greminger. Want to take a stand? Presiding Commissioner Albert Foltz. Al? St. John County Commissioner Gary Nelson. St. John County Commissioner Ray Gettinger. Senator Kevin Engler. Representative Joe Fallert. Alderman Larry Marler. Alderman Joe Steiger. Alderman Carl Oakenfoos. Alderman Gary Smith. St. John County Collector Phyllis Vessel. St. John County Clerk Kay Bosler. Okay. St. John County Treasurer Judy Thomas. And the Colonial Dames of America we'd also like to welcome. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you, or to bring up here, Ron Armbruster.
Thank you very much. I was waiting for you to say about all the wonderful things you loved about St. Genevieve was your husband, Greg Greminger, but I never heard that. Dina, I'd like for you to come up here with me too, please, okay? You know, I looked at this program tonight, and it says, welcome, Ron Armbruster. Welcome. That's real easy. It's great. I love to see y'all here. But it's the first time I've ever seen the welcome 6th on the list. And I go, what's up here? Then I figured out. We have buffet tonight. So someone has to choose which tables go first after the head table. So Dina, the floor is yours.
He really thinks this bothers me, but it doesn't. So we're going to go ahead. Is that all your welcome remarks, by the way? Okay. Short and sweet. I didn't write a speech, that's why it was short and sweet. Okay, so what we're going to do, the head table will actually go first. Ron is the last in the line. What we'll do, you'll notice there's 2 serving lines. So you'll have the back start to the far back. The front start here, up here in the front, and the middle is the last to be served. So how often does that happen? The middle is always in the middle, right? So tonight you're last, so I'm sorry to inform you. And Jeanette Bosler is the reason why, no. So we're gonna go ahead and we will start with the head table, and then we'll fall out with the special table, and then we'll go on and so forth, and try not to knock anyone over. Thank you. Can I have your attention, please? We're going to go ahead and get started with our awards presentation. For those of you who are still eating in the middle, I apologize, but go ahead and continue to eat. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, for the last 5 years, we've started giving awards throughout the community for several different categories. And this year we decided to keep with the tradition and continue to do the same. So we're going to start first with our first recipient of the Small Business of the Year Award. There's a treasure in St. Genevieve, and it's one of the recipients of our 2 Business of the Year Awards for 2008. Laura Nagger, proprietor of Treasured Memories Florist and Tea Room, has worked in the floral business for about 20 years. First at the Gift Gallery with owner Jane Stoll, then at Collage with owner Jan Sutherland. When Jan decided to sell Collage about 6 years ago, Laura purchased the downtown business and the property in which it is located. Since that time, Treasured Memories has hosted weddings, bridal and baby showers, created countless floral arrangements, and provided memorable dining experiences to local residents and out-of-town visitors. The business also offers a unique year-round Christmas shop. Laura has said the credit for the success of her business must be shared with good employees, friends, and family, including her husband, Adrian, a full-time farmer, and her 4 grown sons and their families. We believe Treasured Memories also demonstrates the combination of other ingredients that makes small businesses succeed: hard work, imagination, and dedication. In recognition of that, we are pleased to announce Treasured Memories and Laura as the 2008 Small Business of the Year. Many of the floral arrangements that are sitting at your table today have come from Treasured Memories as well. So she does a fantastic job. If you've never been there, of course, I'm sure most of you have. You can look at her work, a lot of the work here on the tables tonight. Our next Small Business of the Year recipient goes to Tony's Medical Aesthetics and Day Spa. Tony's Medical Aesthetics and Day Spa opened its doors in September of 2003 at 130 Plaza Drive and still remains in the same location today. Beginning with a staff of 4, Dr. Charlotte, Tony Coots, esthetician, Sedesco diplomat, Patty Weiner, RN, and Cheryl Hogue, office manager. Today, Tony's Medical Aesthetics has grown to a staff of 3 full-time estheticians, Sedesco's diplomats, for 1 full-time RN to 2 part-time RNs, 2 contract massage therapists, and administrative office staff. What was initially believed to be a risky venture in a small community, Tony's Medical Aesthetics and Day Spa was well received and experienced a very successful first year. The success continued over the following years, and in 2007, the business expanded to include a Festus and Farmington office of Tony's Medical Aesthetics and Day Spa. Tony's Body Solutions, where Dr. Charlotte performs smart lipo, the latest advancement in the treatment and removal of unwanted fat deposits, and Bellhaven, the Spa at Chalmette, a resort spa located in the heart of Missouri's finest wine country. Tony's Medical Aesthetics and Day Spa owes its initial and continued success to the people of St. Genevieve, especially those who have displayed the initial critical support of the business and its vision. Dr. Charlo and his staff will always be grateful to the community and will continue to return their gratitude through participation in community events, through sponsorships and contributions. We are pleased to name Tony's Medical Aesthetics and Day Spa as one of our 2008 Small Businesses of the Year.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Our next award that we're going to present is the Community Service Award. The Community Service Award is given to an individual or individuals that have given back to the community unconditionally. Our recipient of this award has been dedicated to many organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, the CVB, French Colonial Merchants, chairman of the French Festival, and several others. This nominee started visiting St. Genevieve in 1994. About every 2 or 3 weeks, he and his wife and another couple visited the businesses in downtown. They always had lots of questions concerning the history of St. Genevieve, and we all wondered exactly what their interest was. Then one day, as they strolled into the Show Me shop, they surprised us by saying they just purchased the Gillum house and they were going to operate it as a B&B. Soon thereafter, Somewhere in Time was born. Jim Ferguson is devoted to St. Genevieve in a variety of ways. He helps with grant writing for the promotion of tourism. He devotes his time to endless hours of meetings, and he always comes to the rescue when you need help cooking those brats. He always had his backup team, Team Bubba. Jim has a full-time job which takes him across the entire Midwest. Sometimes he covers 3 states in one day. His weekends are devoted to his many roles of volunteer work and spending time with his family. His bride of 15 years, Jim and Mary Beth, has made St. Genevieve their home. Jim is blessed with 3 beautiful daughters, Jamie, Kim, and Mindy, and 2 wonderful grandchildren, Zach and Shanice. Of course, there's another side of this fantastic guy. In Jim's pastime, he is the character of many and dresses to almost any occasion. Many of you might have seen him as one of the fathers of Christmas, or the Almighty King, or possibly Austin Powers. His closet of many costumes is much like Joseph's coat of many colors. Jim is also known for his infamous cooking, whether it's gumbo soup, crawdads, peppered catfish, Jamaican jerked salmon, stuffed mountain trout, leg of lamb, cured goat, or his favorite Herbie ham. He always greeted you with a glass of wine in the food bar. Ask him who will win the 2009 presidential election, and you will be in for a surprise, but only if you have 50 minutes to sit and listen. With all of this, there are many sides of Jim Ferguson that many of us know and love. He is a fun-loving gentleman with an abundance of love and energy for this community. He is very proud to call St. Genevieve his home, so it is an honor to present the 2008 Community Service Award to my adopted father, Mr. Jim Ferguson.
Thank you, daughter. Thank you. Congratulations, sir.
I have to say that it was very difficult to keep that a surprise, as Mary Beth likes to tell secrets a lot. So we kept it from her as well, and his entire family is here. So when they walked in, the look on his face was absolutely priceless. He actually thought there was an emergency. So everyone who worked hard to do that, to get him here, thank you. Our next award is probably very significant to many because it's a Lifetime Achievement Award, and we usually give this every year as well, and it becomes very difficult at times because we have so many great nominees that we have to choose from. So this year was not an easy task as well. So with that, our 2008 Lifetime Achievement Award, Mr. Frank Myers probably is best known in St. Genevieve for his longtime commitment to historic preservation. He and his wife Shirley own and have restored one of St. Genevieve's most impressive historic structures, the 18th century Joseph Millard House. But Frank's dedication to preserving St. Genevieve architecture heritage has gone beyond the personal. He has been a member of the Foundation for Restoration of St. Genevieve since 1982, and a member of the board of directors of that organization for more than 2 decades. He has served as president of the foundation for 7 years and remains a valued participant in the foundation's activities. In addition, during his tenure as an alderman representing Ward 1 of St. Genevieve, Frank encouraged the city to develop, improve, and adopt strategies and guidelines for preservation and restoration. He provided distinguished service on the City Landmarks Commission and as a city liaison to that group and as a commissioner. He also was Landmarks chairman. He has served as a member of the board of directors of the Missouri Heritage Trust. Frank came to St. Genevieve after retiring from a career with the U.S. Air Force. He entered the military after securing a degree in engineering from Pennsylvania State College and working for the New Holland Machine Company in New Holland, Pennsylvania. He later earned an MS degree in the Administration of Natural Resources from George Washington University and a Master's of Education from Boston University. He is also a graduate of the Industrial College of the Armed Forces in Washington, D.C. Frank served in Vietnam as chief of the U.S. Air Force Military Construction Programs. Later, back at home, he was the Deputy Chief of Environmental Civil Engineering Programs. He also held the post of Chief of Worldwide Site Selection and Airfield Pavement Evaluation and Chief of the Engineering Design Division for the Military Airlift Command, Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. Frank's background and experience in engineering has been of enormous value to the city and community at large, particularly in terms of the roles he played in the planning for the implementation of Great River Road project. He helped develop and secure the grant in the downtown improvement project and was the city coordinator for design and construction. As the city representative of the Joint Levee Commission, Frank also was a key player in the development of the St. Genevieve Flood Control Project and now serves as a levee district commissioner. He also spearheaded the project that resulted in rehabilitation work on the old county jail and has assisted in many other preservation and restoration efforts. He continues to provide invaluable consultation to community groups on matters concerning preservation. One of Frank's most important contributions to us was bringing his wife Shirley here. Together they have shown their dedication to the town in activities ranging from making natural wreaths to decorate the downtown during the holiday season to attending countless travel and tourism shows to help promote St. Genevieve. They have been wonderful ambassadors for St. Genevieve, and in the years they have lived in the community, they represented the town and its interests in many different settings and on many different occasions. And so in recognition of many invaluable roles as he played in the community for over a quarter century, we are pleased and proud to award the 2008 Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Frank Meyer.
Come out here, Frank. Let me tell you, we can always replace it. Okay.
So with that, I'll turn it over to Ron Armbruster for the 2008 Presidential Awards.
Thank you, Dina. It's been customary over the last several years for the president to make a special award, and this year I selected an organization that has done a lot for the community as far as brightening our days in the spring, summer, and fall, but it was really difficult to find out much information about them because they're a very, very informal group. So we had to go back to a couple of the elders in it, and unfortunately Ed and Dorothy Geck are in Iowa, I believe, with a new grandson. But I'd like to recognize tonight the work of all those people that have been involved in the Fleur-de-Lis Garden Club for the many, many years that they've been here and operating in St. Genevieve. This was an organization that back in 1991, Irene Follert was the president, Carrie Lewis was a member, and Bernetta Bader. What a great group of elderly ladies those were. Open mouths, insert foot. At any rate, through the years, they spent many, many long hours gardening, and we've all enjoyed the beauty, of course, from the big gardens out at Highway 61 across from Mississippi Lime Company, St. Mary's Road. But in recent years, their new president expanded that organization, and today the organization now is in charge of over 25 gardens around the community. They have over 20 volunteers, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that work, and gardening is obviously one of those things, either you love it or you hate it. So those people that put the many, many hours in there and putting those gardens in, we'd like to recognize them. And for all that work, we would like now for Donna Marler, their president, to come up and accept this award on behalf of the Fleur-de-Lis Club. Moving right along here. What's next on this? You got no, you stay out. Get the program. Okay, next on the agenda, introduction of new directors. Before I do that, I would like to recognize two of our outgoing directors who are not only directors but officers. It has really been a pleasure this year being president of the Chamber of Commerce and having such a great board. And two of the key elements in that has been our secretary, Joanne Luttrell. I'd like for her to stand up and recognize her. Eric Bosler, our treasurer, who brought fiscal responsibility to our organization. At this time, I'd like to announce the elected directors, 4 positions this year. Repeating and unfortunately not here tonight is Jerry Berthold, who will be back on the board again next year. Also, Ronnie Inman. Ron, would you stand, please? Ron's on our board now and is re-elected to a term for next year. And this year we have 2 new members going on, Mary Grass and Danny Apps, way back in the corner. Okay? Along with those 4 people, myself, Nancy Tully, who you've seen before, Michelle Hogue, stand up, be our another board member back this year. Tyler Brown, is Tyler here?
No, his wife had a baby.
Oh, good for that. Oh, good for them. Carrie Haney, board director. Mary Beth Ferguson. Tom Raymer, back there. And Tom Kime. Okay. Those will be your board members for this year. We will have an organizational meeting yet this month and elect officers. I would like to note, though, that this has been, I feel, a very exceptional year for the Chamber of Commerce. Among our regular annual events, including the 4th of July, Santa's Bash, and obviously the annual banquet. This past year, the Chamber of Commerce was heavily involved in the initiation and the first season of the Colbean Bay Summer Theater, and you're going to see those guys here a little bit later tonight as they get ready for their second year of performances here in St. Genevieve. In addition to that, we established a relationship with Southeast Missouri State University and had them up here teaching an entrepreneur course, and we'll be partnering with them in another grant in Jumpstart St. Genevieve. We also were heavily involved in the Wired Innovative Summit here for the Missouri Career Center in St. Genevieve. This coming year, we will be initiating an internet marketing profile project. That project is funded by a grant that we got this year for $15,000. We are wrapping up, and I think are at the printer right now, for our community profile and resource guide, which is going to be absolutely a first-class document that will be second to none. And this was something that, as the community moved through this year, we had more and more requests for profile information about the community for people looking to move businesses, transfer here, get hired here, this sort of thing. So our board elected to go with doing an absolutely first-class profile, and all of you will be very, very proud of that. And obviously, all of you know that we were recognized this year as a community by the National Trust of one of 12 distinctive destinations, and obviously that's our theme here tonight. So it was a good year for the Chamber. We're going to be very aggressive and working very hard this coming year. I would also like to recognize 2 other people that our board meetings are now luncheon meetings. They're very business, very professional, and our IDC, Industrial Development Corporation liaison, is Tom Grimminger from the Industrial Development Corporation. Tom attends all of our meetings. I'd like to recognize him. And also at our meetings, we have an aldermanic liaison. Alderman Joe Steiger's been our liaison this year with the City of St. Genevieve. It has certainly been a great year for the Chamber. We're very proud of what we accomplished. We've set some very high goals, and we have some great projects that we're going to be working on this coming year. And the success of the Chamber of Commerce, a lot of it obviously goes back to our wonderful staff. Our Executive Director, Dina Kreitler, and her 2 assistants. Is Mrs. Skryther here? Where's Mrs. Skryther? Is she here? Up, over here. Stand up, Mrs. Skryther. Okay. And our intern assistant right here. I'd like to introduce her too. Okay. And again, the outstanding board of directors and the members are what make the Chamber of Commerce, and we've had a lot of great volunteers and a lot of projects this year, and we look forward to another great year next year. Dina, is that it for me? Am I dismissed? Okay. At this time, we're going to go into the program, and I'd like to introduce Landon. Okay, here we go. Colby.
research for this little cabaret evening, we were able to come across a song that, in our research, not many people knew about. We believe that this song that you're about to hear was sung by the captains and crew as they were sailing the mighty Miss.
Roll, roll, roll your boats gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
By 1767, there were 300 people. In 1799, St. Louis had 25 persons less than St. Genevieve. 1805 boasted 2,780 people, and by 1980, that number almost doubled. We now have almost 5,000 people here, which begs the question, how can we take it anymore?
That is why the new year has set forth a proposition that you cannot take any more residents in St. John unless 2 more people move out and like 2 people can move in.
Oh, I see, like a waiting list.
Right, waiting list. And then if you get pregnant while you live here, you have to beg someone else to leave, or you gotta move out.
Oh, you know, the government of China should try that.
They should try that.
They work for them. At any rate, we must know that the only exception to the above-mentioned law has been granted to the Colby Bay Theater Company, where they will bring in approximately 30 ruffians from all over the United States on a short-term basis each summer. Thank you for the plug for Colby Bay. We now would like to take you back to the year 1795, where we drop in on the first school in St. Genevieve, and instructor Pierre Charles Henry.
Bonjour, guys. Qu'est-ce que c'est? It's time to take the roll call. Rosier G.
Present.
Rosier X. Rosier J.
He's sick. Oh,
Sacré bleu. He is missing.
oui, monsieur.
Rosier T.
Papa needed him to work today.
Sacré bleu. He is missing also.
Oui, monsieur.
I see. I am it. Rosier A. Rosier C. Rosier X.
Xavier is ditching.
Qu'est-ce que c'est dit? You mean he is blowing off school?
No. He's digging ditches today with Papa.
Oh, I see. Well, that's all right. All right, and let's see here. We have, Dunzy.
Oui, monsieur.
No. Okay, class. Today we are learning our song for the La Journée festivity. Monsieur, start with the pitch perfect.
Bonsoir, la maîtresse, c'est tous les mots de logis.
Stop! I apologize. We have been requested to do this song in English this year.
Oh, yes.
So here are the sheet musics, Monsieur Rosier.
Yeah, we.
Never mind. There we go, Monsieur. Yeah, hand those out, please. All right. And, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Hit the keys.
Good evening, master and mistress, and to everyone who lives with you. For the first day of the year, you are walking up to lie. Quiet down! If you have nothing else to give, tell us all it right away. We're not asking for marriage.
Take it, Ash. I didn't have
A
it.
China beat or so will do. A China beat is not a big thing. Only 90 feet long.
That's gross. 90 feet long meat?
Better get it at Overly.
That's enough. I think the song would be better if we do it in French.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I shall talk to the council, all right? Yes. In the meantime, let's get on with our other lessons.
We miss you.
All right.
It should not be surprised that that was the last time that song was ever sung in English again. As a matter of fact, this unfortunate incident ended the songwriting career of many hopeful lyricists here in St. Genevieve.
From about 1825 to 1845, the region became inundated with industrious Germans. By the middle of the 19th century, there were far more Germans than French, and English had become the domestic tongue of both national groups. However, it did not start out that way.
Ah! Bonjour, madame et messieurs! Bienvenuto, les old brick! Be our guest, be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, Sherry, and we provide the rest. Soup casual, hot and dinners. Why we only live to serve. Try the frog legs, they're delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the missus. You can see, we can dance. Look around, it's just like France. And the dinner's here is never second best. Go on and fold your menu, take a glance and then you'll be our guest. We are guests, be our guest.
We're in St. Genevieve. St. Genevieve has seen and endured a lot through the years. The famous visitors, Marquis de Lafayette, also the King of Greece, we had duels, and there was a great bank robbery in 1873 where the headline of the St. Genevieve Fair Play read, "Daring robbery, $4,000 haul!" A lot of money. There was a flood of 1785, and a flood of 1844 and 1881, and I think this list could probably go on a while, but perhaps the most famous and well-known flood is the Ray Bosworth flood, which apparently took place a lot during the winter months.
Through it all, the allure, charm, beauty, and people of St. Genevieve has remained the same. This sleepy little town south of St. Louis, resting on the banks of the Mississippi, really is a gem. Missouri should be proud to have such a phenomenal community to call its own.
Yeah, hang on a minute, Landon.
What?
You know, I know I'm new here. You brought me here tonight for the first time. And
Right.
This is a wonderful town.
Yeah.
I really love it. And I noticed while I was standing in line waiting for dinner, there's a problem in this town. And I was listening to the people, and they were arguing one way, arguing another. I think I can fix it, though.
This is not in
I know it's not, but give me a chance. I can fix this, okay? It's just, look, it's what I do. Okay?
All right, good. Speak here.
All the winery, the downtown should be friends. All the winery, the downtown should be friends. One group likes to get them drunk, the other group is nice to funk. That's the reason why they should be friends.
Oh my gosh.
How people choose to together, how to function all.
Great observation. Thank you. Sorry about that. And Nicole, I believe you have the last line.
I do. I have one last thing to say. There is no other place on earth like St. Genevieve.
One singular sensation, every little step she takes. One thrilling combination, every move that she makes. One smile and suddenly no other town will do. You know you'll never be lonely with you. No one moment in her presence, and you can forget the rest. For the town is second best to none. Ooh, sigh, give her your attention. Do I really have to mention St. John's? No one. Oh, sigh, give her your attention. Do I really have to mention St. John's? No one. Thank you very much. Now we actually would like to do a fun little thing. Some of you may have seen us at the Oris do our improv stuff. A lot of us are members of a couple of different improv groups in St. Louis. And one of our most favorite games to play is called A Day in the Life. And the last time we were here, we actually played with Charlie Herzog. And the next day, he left Hollywood to become a big, famous celebrity out there. And we haven't seen him since. It's just busy working, right? No, couldn't come back and grace us. So tonight, actually, though, we'd like to maybe, who knows, the same thing might happen. Today, we would like to focus a day in the life of someone that I have not really had the pleasure of getting to know a lot about, but I probably will tonight. And that's Jim Ferguson. Where's Jim? Where are you at, Jim? Come on up. No, I think by unanimous vote it was you, my friend. We're going to meet you on that. I promise. Look at that name and chair right up front for you. How you doing, Jim? Oh, not well. Oh, don't worry. I'm just about to be embarrassed in front of 300 people. It's no big deal. It's not the first time, and that's what we heard. All right. So, how you doing?
Well,
Well, excellent. And Jim, how long have you lived here in St. Genevieve?
I just moved in yesterday.
Wow. Well, now you don't have to go to school. You just saw a history of St. Gen right there.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good, good. Well, what we do here is, Jim, we're going to, have you ever had a movie done about your life or anything like that?
I've had a few.
Really? Do you care to share some titles with us?
We don't have enough time.
It's a long title?
I'm just in a movie right now, and I am the star of the movie, by the way. I forgot the name, but I am the star.
You're not going to do very good in the press show. You did a name.
I think it's under the same star. Under the same star.
Under the same stars. Excellent. Well, very good. Well, today, we are going to do a movie just for you on your life. Okay? We're maybe going to take several days, a couple of days, whatever the case may be. So we want to start back in your childhood. Okay? Can you remember back that far?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Let's take us to an interesting age. What was the age where you really felt like you were coming into your own? You really knew who Jim Ferguson was?
About 1 year old.
1 year. That is remarkable. So, what was it about that year that really just, kind of made you feel confident, made you go out into the world? Was there a major event?
Yes, when my brother ate a white piece of candy that was really a dog's food. It was really a dog turd.
I'm more concerned that a dog peed white.
It was old.
Is that what happens?
In our house it did.
So what was the name of the dog?
Dippy.
Dippy. So Dippy did a white turd.
Dippity-doo.
Got the dog's candy. And ate it. And that's when you knew you were Jim Ferguson.
When you want to move out.
Jim, I couldn't even write that if I tried. So we're just going to turn it over to our capable actors here. John here is going to play you. I think the resemblance is uncanny. Not yet.
I'm
No.
1 year old.
So John is going to be you, and we're going to let our other actors just kind of take it away. This is the scene where Dippy the dog poops white turd, and your brother was raising.
Larry.
Larry. You know you did say like Larry.
I forgot his name.
Larry, I think you've been drinking. All right. So Larry comes, eats the white turd, and you thought you had to move out of the house. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. That scene.
Oh, here I am, sitting in my backyard. What is it? What is that?
It's a giant piece of candy.
I'm one and I can walk. Yeah, candy.
I'm gonna eat the whole
Oh, yeah, I don't think you should eat that.
No, I found it in the backyard. The Easter Bunny left it.
Oh, Easter Bunny, well then, by all means, go ahead. It looks like puppy chow.
No, it's definitely candy.
Yeah?
Hey guys, what you doing?
Well, she's eating some doo-doo stuff.
Dude, I told you not to let her come.
What?
I was just coming out here to pick it up.
Well, she...
What Dippity made him do?
I guess she ate the dippity-doo.
Dippity don't.
Hey, you better spit it out.
Spit it out.
I'm gonna remember this day for the rest of my life.
Now we have to move.
And scene. Very good. All right. So we don't appreciate that, right?
Exactly.
You realize our funny is based on your funny or answers.
That's sad.
I know. I know. But so far we're off to a good start because I could have never come up with this. So what was the next major event that happened in your life, would you say?
My youngest brother was born love-footed.
Can we get another person from the audience?
Are you related to Charlie Herzog? I mean, you're in St. Genevieve, so maybe, I'm sure. What were you going to say? You were going to say something.
Both feet were flooded.
And what is the name of this brother who was born with this unfortunate situation?
Greggy.
Greggy. Okay. So Greggy was born with 2 club feet. How did this impact your life, though? How did this change it?
I was embarrassed.
It's not very nice.
I know.
So, did you go into seclusion because of embarrassment, or?
To this day, I'm still reclusive.
You're reclusive. Did anyone join you in seclusion?
Larry.
Because he's embarrassed with Greggy, too.
No, because he ate a dog turd.
So he had to go into seclusion.
Yes.
And how old were you when Greggy was born? comes along, you're all excited, and then you have to go into seclusion.
And Mom was embarrassed too.
I don't think she was embarrassed of Greggy, though. I think she was embarrassed of her oldies. What'd you say?
Larry.
Larry, whoa! Sorry, Larry, I thought I was saying. So, where did you go into seclusion? Where did you go?
St. Genevieve.
Wow. All right. I guess this is all he's given us. So, we're now going to play the scene for you. Greggy is born with the 2-club beat. You're horrified and embarrassed, so you go into seclusion with Larry, and, you know, I'm sure our actors will come up with some things that happen while in seclusion. So without any further ado, scene 2.
Larry is right, this doo-doo is good.
Ketchup.
I told Mom, I told you to leave him in the house.
Come on, Mom. Hey, let's get out of here. Let's go to the clubhouse, the treehouse.
Fine, we'll go to the treehouse. You won't be able to climb up there.
No, you're right. Let's go.
Fast forward 2 years later. They're still in the treehouse.
You got any of that white stuff? I'm hungry.
I don't know, I can't find it anymore. I haven't seen any ever since Doo-Doo died.
I guess we're gonna have to go back.
Is he still out there?
I think that's his feet. Let's go.
All right.
Hey guys, check out my new feet.
Greggy was actually Gregory Hines, and he's now, you know, he became that unfortunately passed away. So there you go. So you went into seclusion for nothing. So next major event, I'm thinking it's got to be your high school years, right?
Yes.
When you came into your own, you realized, hey, I'm a man about town, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Is this perhaps when you met your wife or significant other?
Met my first wife. My second wife is here, right?
Was she not even good at that scene? So you met your first wife. Was that nice?
Yes, it was.
Oh, excellent. All right. And then when did you meet your current wife?
After my first wife. Oh, it wasn't my fault.
It wasn't your fault. What, meeting your second wife or losing the first one?
It was my fault.
All right. But give me a time frame, an age range. You know, how old were you, or where were you at in life when you met your second wife?
19.
19.
And married at 20.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. This is your second wife?
No, my first.
I said your second wife. I don't want to upset her.
She was born self-footed.
Swear to God, you're Charlie Herzog. All my years of playing this game, and Charlie was the first, we thought, no, there's no way anyone could be like him, and you heard this wrong. Thanks.
My second wife's last name is Pussyterry. That's not funny.
Thank you for divulging that information. But how old were you when you met your second wife?
40.
40, okay, so we fast forward quite a bit. All right, well that's good, we'll do that. So where did you meet her? Kind of set the scene for us.
In the health club, I used to be healthy.
That's a good thing.
So I ate food, a lot of food.
Yeah.
That's where I met her, on the life cycle.
On the life cycle. What day was it?
I don't know, but that's where I proposed to her, on the life cycle.
That same day?
No, 2 years later.
2 years later, okay, so we'll do a couple scene here. Now, had you known her beforehand?
Not at all.
Not at all. All right. And what was it about her that really made you just go gaga?
She peddled that life cycle very well.
And do you remember what song was playing at the time?
It was an Elvis Presley song, I'm not sure.
Okay, Elvis Presley's song. So now we're going to go. Here's Jim. He's peddling on the lifestyle. Next time becomes his wife. What's your wife's name?
Very bad.
Mary Beth comes up. She's peddling that life cycle like there's no tomorrow. He goes gaga for her. 2 years later, So, scene one, the meeting.
Just bring that mic cycle on out right here. That's perfect. That's great. Thank you so much.
You ride that bicycle like a dream girl.
I see. Well, thank you very much. It's very nice of you to say. I've been working on it all day.
I'm gonna ride it with you.
I see. That sounds really, something. Okay.
And we've been forward 2 years.
And for 2 years, before it gets a little, 2 years later, the proposal.
Let's get the hell out of here and get married. What do you say?
What's your name?
And scene, very good. Very good. Technically, your response, I think, hit a little too close to home, huh?
Very close.
It was almost as if you were there.
I was there.
We know. All right, so let's do one more major event. You've met your lovely, beautiful wife. Have you had kids with her, or do you have any kids?
No.
Well,
I had 3 children, but none with her.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa, your kids are going to that. So you got 3 kids, no with her. Okay. How about a favorite vacation that you and Mary Beth have taken?
We don't take vacations.
We got everything we need right here.
We've been all over the world, so I don't know.
Well, what's your most favorite place?
St. Genevieve.
I agree. It's just like a vacation for us, I guess, too. But where else other than St. Genevieve?
Italy.
Italy. All right.
My wife's Italian.
Oh, Italian. Very good. And where do you go when you go to Italy? What location?
Venetia.
Venetia. Okay. Well, I'm going to have our actors try to imagine, now based off of knowing you, kind of knowing Mary Beth, what a romantic evening out on the town would be in Venetia, Italy. All right? And we'll see how close we come to that. So, without any further ado, it is a lovely evening in Venetia, Italy, while Jim and Mary Beth stroll through the boat of Oz.
Follow me to the boat. Follow me. Keep your arms and legs inside the boat at all times. No funny business. Oh, this is really nice.
This is just beautiful.
You know what? This place is crap. Let's go back to St.
I
Genevieve.
know, we've got everything we need there.
Can you take us to St. Genevieve, Missouri?
Yes,
please?
we'd like to go there, please.
It's
Yes.
going to cost you $5 extra.
Okay, we've got it. We're rich.
Oh, we can take that out of the Chamber of Commerce Fund.
That would be good.
Look, honey, when we get home, you're going to have to get rid of those 3 kids of yours, because I don't like them.
Oh, no, honey, they're out of here. 'Cause I tell you, there's no girl like... Whatever you say goes, honey, because there's no girl like an Italian girl.
I especially don't like that one with the club foot who eats poo.
I know.
Hey, if you're looking to get rid of family members, I'm looking to take some in. I need some more help with the boat.
Okay, they're yours.
Great.
All right.
Deal.
Yeah.
And scene! Excellent! How did you many days like that, huh?
It's killing us.
It reminded me of throwback memories.
Well, you are a great sport, Jim, and we thank you very much. Did you have a good time seeing the live play for you? You're awesome. Stand up, kick it out. It was the most unique battle I've ever seen, so this summer I'm going to go. This is Jim Ferguson. You see that?
We can all try it.
Yeah. Now, what we like to do is just kind of wrap up by telling you a little bit about Colby Bay. Some of you may know about us. Hopefully, a lot of you know about us. We are here last summer. We did just an amazing technical ago when we were shopping around the idea for a summer theater program, we thought of Lake of the Ozarks, we thought of Herman, we thought of St. Genevieve, and I obviously was in love with St. Genevieve, that's why I chose it, and I didn't even know it. Everything that I had heard about it was based on things that I had heard when I first moved to St. Louis approximately 3 years ago, and everything that I heard was dead on, if not even more so. We love this community. We love being here last summer. Our cast loved being here. We did an exit interview, and at the end they said it was the most wonderful, peaceful, quiet, friendly place they've ever been to. And that meant a lot to us. That means that we did exactly what we wanted to do. We brought people into this community. They were affected by the community. They were in touch with the people and kind of the culture. And we actually, I'm proud to say that we have a lot of them returning back this summer, which is very, very rare. So now we're coming back. We're doing cabaret and Fiddler on the Roof. We're doing cabaret for 3 weekends, Fiddler on the Roof for 3 weekends, and our brand new home, the Oris Theater. And we couldn't be happier about that. Thanks to taking the game over there. So we're going to be there. We're actually loading into town in just about another 7 weeks. We'll be here a lot longer this time. We'll be here for 10 weeks. And we'd like to take this opportunity to implore you as much as possible to help us, not only for the benefit of our company, but for the benefit of the region and Southeast Missouri. There are only 2 professional summer stock theaters in the entire state of Missouri. One in Gala, the other one in St. Genevieve. We went to the travel show, St. Louis Travel Show, about a month ago now, and we just were met favorably by everyone there. Everyone was saying they've heard of St. Genevieve, or they've been to St. Genevieve, and they've been looking to get back, and the minute we told them there was professional theater, their eyes lit up, and they said, oh, we'll be there. We're proud to say that we already have 3 bus groups booked for sure that are coming on in. So we're definitely here to make sure that the community benefits, that the merchants benefit, that the families here benefit. I mean, I think at least it's kind of cool to be able to say you have a professional theater in your very own backyard. We want to encourage you to get your kids involved. We have wonderful camps that will help them in terms of confidence and stage presence and you know, communication skills and being able to be involved in the arts. It's changed people's lives. We want to get you guys involved in terms of obviously coming to the shows. We always are looking for help in terms of ushering. You name it, we will use you, definitely. It takes a community to make theater work, and this is definitely the community we want to be in. Now, we also would like to make sure that the businesses know that we are taking corporate sponsors right now, show sponsors, for each individual night. Last year with Joseph, our operational budget was about $75,000. Well, it doubles, obviously, when you do twice as many shows. And pretty much ticket sales can only account for about 50% of our operational budget. So we definitely need corporations to get involved, and we've come up with the best way we can to do that, which is advertising with us. About 50% of our audience base last year came from St. Louis. We also had very strong numbers from Perryville, Farmington, as well as Cape Girardeau. We used a lot of kids from Seymour last year. We'll be using a lot more. So your advertisement in our program will definitely have an impact to reach a lot of people. And I will say this, based on experience in Chicago and St. Louis, advertisers that advertise for the arts and support the arts are definitely patronized by the audience members and stuff, because it means a lot to them. We know that it takes a very special kind of people to support the arts. So, if you'd like to, after tonight, we will have season ticket order forms available. We have season tickets. They've been on sale since February 1st. We've only sold 4 of them. So, I need everyone in here to buy a season ticket tonight. All right, season tickets are the way to go. We have reserved seating this year at the Oris. You choose the night you want to come. You have your seats. You have guaranteed tickets for both nights, and it's cheaper than if you were to buy an individual ticket at the show. So we definitely encourage you to buy season tickets. Regular individual ticket sales go on sale in the middle of April, and then it kind of throws a kink into the season ticket thing. So season tickets go off sale April 15th. So we
committee who helped put this on together for us this evening. Myself, Betty Arnold, Mary Beth Ferguson, Michelle Hogue, Joanne Luttrell, Jane Ellen Roth, Sharon Sharon, and Julie Smoushley. Also, thank you to all the businesses who donated the beautiful centerpieces that someone will get to take home with them this evening. We want to thank Channel 7 and Channel 98 for their public access coverage. Cozy Kitchen for a fantastic meal. Everyone enjoy the meal. We would like to thank the VFW Hall and their staff, the bartenders who waited on us so patiently this evening, and also the Valley and St. John students who helped serve our meal and clean our tables this evening, because without them we couldn't have done everything. And one more thank you to all of you who helped make my job so fun. I really enjoy it, so thank you to every one of you. So, let's get to the centerpieces. And the what? Oh, and the 50-50. Let me do that first. Whoever hollered that out. Okay, we collected tonight $453.